I didn't know this song came from Gen 5. It's a good one. I'm quite fond of it. Hello, everybody. Gonna give some time for people to come in because this was a very last-minute decision. I kind of forgot I was doing these. When was the last one? Hold on. Let me double check. Last one of these was back in October. And I can tell you why I stopped. It's because I reset the cookies on my just internet browser. And in doing so, I completely erased the last 4 tier lists. I just didn't want to remake them again. So that kept me from continuing this for a while. But I have set all of them back up again. Took some time. Oh, hold on. Go into presentation mode, please. We'll go over those in a second, because I have kind of moved things around a little bit. Good to see you people. Hello, Zeus, Gavin, 3X, Carson. It's going to be a very chill stream. I am not quite feeling at my best, so we're not going to be doing, like, peasants or round tables. But I wanted to do something. And, you know, if I'm not... if I'm not feeling particularly well, what better way to start feeling better than to bitch about Pokemon? I love bitching about Pokemon. It's a good time. I agree, Baki. It's a very interesting generation to talk about. I can't remember if this is like internet myth, but is it true that Gen 5 was kind of meant to be a soft reboot, in a sense? Am I remembering this correctly? I might not be. Don't take that as gospel. I remember people saying that due to how... I've never actually played Gen 5 myself, which is going to make this even more interesting. That we're in another Gen 2 situation where my kind of Pokemon journey kind of tapered off at 4, and it wasn't until I got a 3DS on my own that I came back with a vengeance for 6. So it'll be interesting. We'll see. We'll see indeed. Gen 5 is Gavin's favorite. So many bangers. This is probably the generation that I am the least sure of how I feel about it going in. The past 4, I've been very just confident knowing that, okay, I know my general, how I vibe with this generation. This one, not so much. No siree. Hey, Akana. Glad to see you. I also forgot this series existed. Okay, let's kind of start getting the ball rolling, because first I want to talk about the past tier lists, because as I was going back through them, I started moving things around just a little bit. I don't really like... I don't feel a need to have a definitive, yes, this is the order of first to second to third, this is my favorite, this is my least favorite. I like to keep my opinions a little more flexible than that. So you will see that things have kind of shifted around a little bit. I'll keep it paused here. I need to make sure this is visible on screen and not just on my monitor. Yeah, the bottom doesn't matter. The bottom isn't surprising. When is the last roundtable? Next roundtable? That's a good question. Because we need to do Design Dorks, I want to do a Peasant's Perspective. And more importantly, I want to have the video up for like the next topic of the roundtables before we finish off the streams for whatever came prior to it. So I'm not... I don't know. These next couple of weeks are going to be very busy for me. See, is there anything worth talking about in these that I moved around? Golem fell hard. I was kind of finicky on that the first time around, but the more I look at it, it's just... it feels too awkwardly jutting out of its body. Gen 2... is there anything worth talking about here? Granbull and Snubbull dropped even more. I hate looking at them. I'm sorry. Oh, I also dissolved the kind of mid-tier for, like, Machop, Machoke, Mr. Mime. I think it was called, like, something like Good Designs, Weird Pokemon or something like that. Nah, I feel comfortable putting them where they are. Still weirds me out, but I don't feel the need to put them in, like, a separate tier anymore. 3, anything worth talking about here? I dropped Sceptile and Swampert out of S. You just have a little bit too much of extra stuff jutting out of them. Swampert's fins are a little bit haphazard, and Sceptile's entire body structure is just a little off. I think it's the tail. Still fantastic, I love them both, but dropped them a little bit for that. Anything else here? I don't think so. Gen 4. Gen 4 changed a lot because people in the comments had fantastic points. Happiny in particular jumped like 5 tiers because somebody pointed out that since they can't carry eggs of their own, that's just a little rock that it's got that's wobbling around trying to take care of it as if it's an egg. That gains major bonus points. That's adorable. Anything else? Tangrowth dropped more too. I don't like looking at it. There's a lot of these that I just offend my eyes. But yeah, everything we've covered so far, I think, has been top-heavy. Gen 5, not a clue. So let's start. And we're ready to start off. I forgot that Victini, like, they put it at the front of the Pokedex for some weird reason. Hold on. I need to make sure I have Bulbapedia up on a separate one, because that's going to be important for context. Victini is the start of a gripe I have with a couple of Pokemon. It's a rare gripe because it doesn't come up often. But, like, I don't like letter Pokemon. It feels like such a simplistic design choice to have the X of Xerneas, the Y of Yveltal, the V of Victini. It's not the worst thing in the world, but it does... It feels a little too on the nose, you know? That said, I think Victini's fine. Like, there's nothing that really speaks fire about it, but it's bright enough that he kind of gets a psychic vibe-ish. And it's cute. Put it, like, maybe here. I'm debating between Shiny Tier and Everstone Tier, but the fact that it's a Legendary, I'd want more from it, so I think Everstone's good. Everstone's good. It's going to be bad news with the next gen. It is going to be bad news with the next gen. I think they only did because the Victor Pokemon is relatively subtle with the Apple Rabbit origin. Yeah, but even then, I hold it under a little more scrutiny because it's kind of in the same vein as, like, the Jirachis, the Celebes, the Mews. It's kind of following in their footsteps, and I think I'd easily call it the weakest of the three. 4, rather, sorry. Does Gen 4 have an equivalent of that? I guess the River Spirits? Not really. Shaman? Maybe? I don't know. Gen 4 had a lot of weird legendaries. But moving past the weirdness of Victini, Snivy. Snivy... God, how do I feel about Snivy? Gen 5 is a weird middle ground with the starter Pokemon. Because they went from the kind of mythological core of Gen 4 and started focusing more on kind of more grounded human concepts. Like Samurott is a samurai. Serperior, I think, is supposed to be in kind of opera director, something like that. I think it's a design decision that will just outright harm starter Pokemon later down the line, but they do a decent job of still keeping, like, the elemental attachments with this generation in particular. But Snivy... Something's always felt off about Snivy for me. It might just be the tiny mouth having a snake with just this bizarrely oversized snout. And I don't like that the snake has feet. The feet kind of feel just plastered on, especially with its evolution. But I think for what I look for, especially with, like, the starter Pokemon, I think Snivy's alright. I think it's a shiny. Maybe lower end of shiny. I still think the nose is so weird, but it's alright. It's alright. Based on no... Oh! Oh, I thought it was, like, specific... That makes way more sense. Okay, okay. Thank you for the clarification. I feel like because they evolved into more of a snake-like creature, the hands and feet always weirded me out. Yeah, Serperior... This line feels like they decided on Serperior first, and kind of just designed backwards from that. Don't think it's especially strong, but it's... Oh... What about higher? Man, I might move this around as we get more onto the list. Servine, kind of like what I just said. This one I don't like. The leaves just kind of feel plastered onto the back. Kind of just feels like they took the Snivy and stretched it. Also, I don't like the way it's looking at me. Ever so slightly weirding me out. Definitely, on the lower end. Maybe HM Slaves? What's another stretched out kind of design? Or Bayleaf. Not Bayleaf, the third one. HM... Yeah, right there, right there. Yeah, that feels about right. That's consistent. Serperior, though, I think Serperior looks pretty decent. You got the clear, like, nobility, I always thought it was an opera singer, but the nobility thing makes so much more sense. You can clearly see the inspirations there, but it doesn't, like, overtake the design like it does in later generations. You can still tell this is a grass Pokemon, because it's got, like, all the leaf designs flowing out. Doesn't quite get into the higher... You know what? I put in Serperior there. That feels better. That feels much better. Fun fact, Serperior still has arms. It's just always behind its back. Hold on. Hold on. Wait a minute. What? Give me a back view of its sprite. Oh, that's stupid. I kind of like that a little less, actually. But that is funny. That is very funny. Also, that's a good shiny. Like, it doesn't change that much, but the color juxtaposition looks great. Yeah, I agree, potted plant. It's got stuff going to it that's still, like, rooted in, like, being part plant. It's snakeskin. It's peeling off, like a fruit. Let's see. Yeah, I feel good about this. I might drop Servine down one more. Just because it does look a little weird. But for now, I think we're fine. Tepig. Not the fondest of Tepig. It looks like it's got a diaper on, for one thing. There's nothing about it that tells you fire at all. Let me see the sprites. It's kind of just an orange pig. It's a cute orange pig. Don't get me wrong. But it's just pig. How does the fire come into this? Then it does well shooting fire. It shoots fire from its nose. Eh. Eh. I'd like Victini more than it. But I think it's better than Servine. Somewhere between here. Person never feel very mean for never caring for Tepig because it just feels like it's just a common consensus. Yeah, it just doesn't... It doesn't do much. Like, it gets better as it evolves, but as it starts off... Eh. I feel nothing looking at you. Pignite's a little better. I like the kind of smoke cloud for the tail. Kind of fiery emblazonments. It's still kind of just visually communicating that it's fire, but you can actually tell it's supposed to be a fire Pokemon now. I like the names for this line: Tepig, Pignite, Emboar. You know what? Yeah, no, yeah. I'll give you that one. Names are good. I will say... No, I wouldn't say that. I was about to say I like this as the better firefighting line, but no, that's not even close. Infernape's line blows this out of the water. But I feel like it does a decent job of communicating that, at the very least. But it doesn't look stupid to the point of being just absolutely bizarre like some of the previous Pokemon we've talked about, and will talk about later down the line. That said, I still think it's... Give me a Pokedex entry. It's better, eats more fuel as his fire stomach. Yeah, he eats a lot for fuel because it's a wrestler. Because anytime you get fighting type into anything, any sort of connection to the environment goes out the fucking door in Pokemon. Yeah, seeing it in motion. Not as much of a fan. I don't know what I would even do better, though, is the thing. It's too... It's... You know what it is? It's too spherical. It's kind of just an egg with arms and legs. And I'm not the fondest of the oversimplicity there. Yeah, the more I talk about it, I'm not. Let's talk about Emboar first. Because Emboar finally gets somewhere. Just... It looks a bit silly, but it's a cool kind of silly, you know? I certainly like this more than Incineroar. Well, design-wise. Personality-wise, Incineroar is so fun, but... I think I've talked about in previous streams, as for anybody that remembers those, that I prefer Pokemon that are kind of based off of human stuff to be designed in a way that you kind of get the sense that maybe human culture in the Pokemon world saw that and was like, oh, that's cool, we should copy that. And this does a decent job with it. I think the patterns are a little too on the nose. But apart from that, I think it's solid. I think it's I'd compare it to, like the Magmortar lines, which just look bizarre. But this guy's solid. This guy's solid. I think he's a low shiny. I think Serperior is better. A few oddities, but he's good. He's good. He's fun. I like him. I might drag these two down, actually. I think they could be better. I just can't really... Maybe if you gave... Gosh, what is it? Sorry, I'm going to forget names a lot as we go through this. If you gave Pignite a little bit more of a simian build at first, like extended the arms out, so he's kind of on all fours and then he gets up as Emboar, I think I'd like that a lot more. And Servine's just kind of lazy, honestly. I was going to say Emboar kind of sacrifices a lot of the personality that Incineroar has, so I guess isn't much of a loss because he's in a Pokemon. No, yeah, I absolutely agree. Like, Incineroar is a much better character. But Emboar actually feels like a Pokemon. Oshawott starts out pretty decent. Like, I think it's just kind of fine. It's another one of those lines where the starter line is just kind of cute, but it is just kind of cute. I can't say much more of that. Water creature is water-type Pokemon. Yeah, we're really reaching for the stars with that. And then Duods. I'm generally not a fan of Pokemon evolving like physical objects that they carry around with them. Just because that feels weird to me. But for super simplistic objects like sticks, or in this case seashells, I think it's fine. It's fine. I think trying to do like samurai sort of actions with the seashell has always looked a little silly to me. But it's solid. It's solid. I can see the kind of samurai vibes without looking absolutely ridiculous. I think it's good for that. I like it more than Snivy. I don't know. It is still just water-type aquatic creature is water-type Pokemon. But I like how much personality it has. It's different than just the generic cute. I like its determination. The disciplined Pokemon. And then Samurott. Just feels like a completely different Pokemon. Which is so weird. Like, how do you go from this to this? Like, this is a bigger jump than, like, I think any other starter Pokemon that we've talked about so far. It might be the biggest jump in the series, for that matter. Which is weird, because on its own, I think it looks pretty cool. Like, if you put it in a vacuum, this weird, like, quadrupedal, aquatic narwhal creature with just armor all over it. It's a sick design. But it doesn't flow at all. Neither of them do, for that matter. Of course, I also don't know what you evolve this into to capture this sort of vibe. I think the problem with Samurott is that it's on all fours when 2-3 stages are sword wielders. No, I absolutely agree with that. There's nothing that gets you ready for just the abrupt shift in what the Pokemon is. Maybe even at a build closer to, like, I don't know, Mega Swamp? Now that would look ridiculous, too. I don't know how to rank this one. Because if it was just on its own, I do think it genuinely looks really cool. Like, let me see some Pokedex entries for this. How does it, like, use its... So it's still a sword. Scorpion's armor can fill in upon a simple glare from one cry. It's everybody... This is another thing I hate about this kind of over-focus on the kind of theme of the starter, is because it becomes only the theme. How it's integrated into the world. You don't see how it hunts with the sword at all. It just, oh, it's got a sword now. It's a samurai. It scares people. Oh, there's a sword. That's interesting. Okay, hold on. Let me see some sprites. Okay, from behind, that looks a little ridiculous. Just perfectly, like, straight legs, kind of stanced up. That looks kind of silly. Can I see more of an action shot with this thing? No? Okay, fine. Well, that Pokemon Snapshot, it does have, like, sorts built into... I don't... Now, I'm feeling a jumping fool, because it's a strong first impression, but the more you look at it, the more it just feels a little weird. It's like one of those types of Pokemon where it should have just had 2 evolutions because it was a starter, they had to add a 3rd one. I got the shells on its arms are essentially scabbard. Yeah, like, it has fun little details to go along with the theme. But I don't know if the details come together in the form of a complete package very well. I think there's other Pokemon that have done kind of the samurai vibe a little better than this, too. Let's start comparing things. I think I like Emboar more. I think I like Dewott more. I think I like it more than Snivy, though. So that we got at least here or here. Because it is trying to do something, and it is succeeding. Like, it feels like it's mostly succeeding, but it's just kind of stapled together. Like, what? Now that how long is that neck? That just clicked with me. Like, you don't really notice that because of the mustache and the armor, but that is, like, weirdly just grabbed and stretched out. Like, it happened, his Hisuian form was really just a recolor. Oh yeah, I completely agree with that. Like, I do like the recoloring. Like, I do prefer those colors, but that's kind of just what it is. Anything more of this origin? Oh, let's look and check the trivia. Based on an otter. Are you sure? Yeah, sea lion, Oshawott, armor samurai. Were caught by the strength spy by sea lions and the nearby sea show. Okay. So kind of a oh, this is interesting. The designers had issues in creating a fully evolved form which was more interesting than just a big otter standing on 2 legs. At that point, went to see a sea otter. Was inspired by the strength of some of the sea lions in the nearby sea lion show, and it decided to incorporate elements of the latter animal into the design. So the sea lion stuff just kind of got stapled on at the tail end of this evolution line. I don't know if I'd agree with that, though. I think you could have done something. I need to look more into, like, different kinds of otters before I could, like, give out suggestions of that nature. You know what I kind of wish? If they were going with the, sort of like, okay, the otter has a sword, make the sword a separate Pokemon. Kind of like the whole, Slowbro, Slowpoke to Cloyster relationship there. I don't know what Pokemon would fit that. Maybe it rips the coral off a Corsola, and as it evolves, the Corsola starts to regrow, or something like... I don't know. That's just an idea off the top of the dome, but... I think there's something you can do there. Does this feel better? Does this feel better? This feels better. Yes. Okay. We're going with that. It's like Fuecoco flying on the ocean just as a bird. It's not kind of like that. Kind of, yeah. I think that would feel a little bit better for me. Alright, we'll leave these guys here for now. Okay, getting into the HM Slave. God, I get what you're going for. But... I have never been able to take this line seriously. Especially the later evolution. Just like, look at these colors! Looks like a foreman in a construction zone. Just kind of looking around, back and forth. It's a meerkat that's looking around, because that's what meerkats do. I get it. It looks so stupid. You take away the eyes, and it's just a meerkat, but at the same time, the eyes just the eyes. Why are there yellow stripes? I don't understand. Are those supposed to be the irises? Actually, hold on. Those might. Oh, hold on. That might actually be the case. Can I get a picture of a Patrat that's actually looking in a different direction? Or is it just always striped? It's always striped. That's so weird! Why? Oh my gosh. The thing is... I think it's bad, but it hits that kind of like Jello Apocalypse bad. Where it hits 0 and starts going into the negative numbers for kind of an ironic enjoyment. Because it's hideous, but it's also kind of funny in that way. Like, I'm not frustrated by this thing. I don't look at this and I'm like, oh, I wish you could have been so much better. Because it's just kind of dumb. For days, use tails to communicate with each other, extremely loud, cautious. Oh yeah, just the fully erect tails at all times as well. It's the way they consume. They're just fully paranoid at all times. They had way too much, man. I gotta stay on watch, man. There's a Samurott out there. He's gonna hunt us down, man. Okay, with that, actually, I that does give a little more positive than negative. I'll put in an HM Slay for that, because that is funny. Watchog, no. Actually, just get out of my side, Watchog. That is... Why? I understand, but why? Lillipup. He's a cute dog. Lillipup is a cute dog. I can't really say anything else. I also like that they Pokemonify it? Like, it's not just a dog because they go a little crazier with the kind of just super furry features on its face. Like, I know there's dogs like this, but they do, they go the extra mile to, like, comparing it to, say, like, Pidgey or Rattata. I can tell it's a little bit more than just a dog. Like, it's only an Everstone, but, like, it's cute. I like it. Purrloin, same deal, really. I like the mustache. Probably the weakest of the three, but I do still like the personality it's got on display. I think this is an Everstone as well. You know, I actually think I like Lillipup a little more than Snivy. I like Oshawott more than Snivy as well. I'm sorry, I don't like the way it looks at me. The snout's weird. I'm sorry, Snivy enjoyers. But then Stoutland's just fun. Take kind of what they were doing with Herdier. It's a really satisfying evolution line. Because you can clearly see the Pokemon growing and growing wiser. As it goes, it perfectly flows from one to the other. While still kind of Pokemonifying the original design. I like this guy. Stoutland's good. Stoutland's great, even. You know, I don't really have a problem with this Pokemon. Do I like it more than... I do feel like it's a pretty great normal type design. I don't really have anything else I'd want it to be. And I do kind of love the idea of just, like, you know what? Yeah, Stoutland's better than all of the starters in Gen 5. That's a funny statement to make. Yeah, you know what? I kind of put this in that tier of, like, the Chanseys, the Snorlaxes, the Tauroses, like, other super strong normal-type Pokemon. I think this is a good thing to strive for when you're making a normal-type Pokemon. It's clearly based off of a singular animal, but it has so much personality. While also not being, like, forced into having a singular personality, you know? Like, it's not quite just a character, it's still a creature, but you can feel how so many different characters could arise from the design. I think it's very strong. Can't say that about the Purrloin line. I think this is a little weaker. It's just Cat with a very bizarre just setup for the patterns. Like, why do we have this kind of like, backless dress. With, like, no sleeves as well. Like, I get what it's going for, but what it's going for unsettles me. I also don't hate it enough, though, to put it very low on the tier list. Like, so a tuxedo cat's for pattern on a female thief, commonly known as cat burglar. Oh yeah, that's kind of self-explanatory looking at it. But why? Another in the very long line of just like, oh yeah, we took some kind of element of human culture and made a Pokemon around it. How does that jive with the rest of Pokemon? It doesn't. It's a cat burglar, so they steal from people. Yeah. Actually, you know, I would want to trade this. I don't feel anything looking at you. Don't even really feel the need to see what you evolve into, which is a shame, because Liepard is at least a little better. Not by much, but you get more of a, like, it takes that kind of, between, like, human and Pokemon and shifts the dial more towards the Pokemon with the idea it's trying to go for. It's still just a cat. And again, what kind of, just to compare what I said with Stoutland, this feels like a Pokemon where the personality has largely been decided for you. Like, this is significantly more character than creature. Purrloin may have been planned as a Meowth too. That's... oh! That's an interesting point, yeah. That's also an interesting point. Yeah, like, it is better than Persian, if we're going down that route. I think Purrloin is so much weaker than Meowth, but this is a much better Persian. Do you have anything interesting in the Pokedex, or are you just cat? It's a cat. It's a sneaky. They're nocturnal. Great. Love it. Yeah, I'll put this... It's fine. It's fine. The weed cat is funnier. Okay, and then we get to these little bastards. I understand why they exist in a gameplay sense, because you want to be able to give the players kind of elemental options early on to make up for what they don't have with the starters. But my god, just... this feels like one of the laziest ways to do it. Just, okay, we're gonna have a monkey, but we're gonna take a symbol of what the element is and just stab it into its head. And that's kind of the end of the design. I think the evolved versions just all... they all just look a little stupid in their own special ways. Like you're trying to make a kid's show about these three elemental monkeys that all their elemental types cause a lot of problems for each other, but through their shenanigans they're going to teach those 3-year-old kids important life lessons. Like, this is the spunky one. This is kind of the class clown one. And this is the friendly one. I don't know. I don't like any of these. I know they're supposed to be the see no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil. Doesn't amount to much. Isn't that also a thing with, like... Darmanitan? No, wait, no, I'm thinking of the... not Alolan Darmanitan. Galar? Galar version, I think. Maybe. Yeah, I see it... But it's nothing. It feels stapled on. I think... You know, I think I'm just gonna fill the whole... I don't like any of these, I'm sorry. Because at least the evolved versions are trying to do something. I think it's still doing it badly. No. I think they're all bad. I think it's just bad. I think Simisage deserves to be at least the top. You know what? Fair. I'll give you that. Here, hold on. Let me give the evolved versions a little more of a chance. Because I think the initial ones are just weak. They're just weak. Hate you. What's it doing with its hands? This is the only one I feel somewhat positively towards. It's ridiculous, but at least in kind of a fun way. Whereas I just hate looking at Simisear and Simipour. But Sam said, yeah, I agree. Say about right here. Sorry, this is like 6 Pokemon at once. We might be here for a little bit. What if I did this? Because these are weak, but I don't hate looking at them. I just think they're terrible designs. I hate looking at these two. We'll move past these. And the Sage would give so many fist bumps to everybody. Something like this. Something like this. I think this is fine. Munna is weird. I think for that alone, it at least scores a few points for me. Because I look at this thing, I have no idea what the hell it's supposed to be. Oh, wait, hold on. It didn't click with me until you said that, Jumping Fool, but they are totally just Drowsy and Hypno, too. Is it based off of the same thing as well? Cora, like a pig and have patterns on them. Oh, that's a little... So they're more kind of based on objects? That's a little weaker. I will say I don't like the flower pattern. That's too on the nose for me. So there are people whose dreams are eaten by them, forget what the dreams have been about. I like stuff like this. Like, this is actually tying into how society works in Pokemon. Like, this is the reason why you can't remember your dreams, because there's these weird floating tapirs that are just eating them all up. That's at least interesting. I appreciate that. I see Sprite. How does this thing, like, move? Eh, it just kind of floats around. I give you points for being weird. Like, it gets the kind of off vibe I'd want from Psychic Pokemon. Maybe here? Or does here feel better? Because unfortunately it is also just unbelievably simplistic, which prevents it from going particularly high. And again, I don't like the floral pattern. But there's ideas there, and I like the ideas there. I think is a backup Pokemon better than Drowsing Hip? No, definitely agree with that. I think here. And then Musharna, again, they're so simplistic is the thing. What's your Pokedex? Do you have any more fun things? Nah, it's more dream eating. The dream's starting to leak out as it sleeps. How do you move? The tapir fell asleep. Do you do anything interesting with that? Ah, not really. Man! It sucks, because it's the second go around for things like this. And to remind everybody about what the point of comparison here is. Hang on, can I find a good picture of one? Like, look at that! That's so cool! Why is this the best we can do with this idea? Ah. I don't think the evolution changes nearly enough to be worth it. This is something I'd rather have as just a standalone thing. This one frustrates me a little bit. That doesn't go down to Wonder Trade, because I think the core idea is still solid. But like, why evolve? This is kind of in that Clefable range for me almost, but it doesn't like hurt my eyes to look at. Maybe if Musharna got the tusks? Yeah, something like that. Or maybe if, like, as it was dreaming, it would kind of shift from a pleasant dream to more of a nightmare, and the design would kind of shift between those 2 points. That could be really cool. But as it is now, it's just there. What I think of object Pokemon, that depends on a case-by-case basis. We'll get to a few of them as we go along. That is just a pigeon. And unlike something like, well, Pidgey, they kept the unfeeling bird eyes, which I think makes it a little weaker. Where did I put Pidgey? HM Slave? Yeah. I mean, really nothing else to do with that. It's burb. It is bird. Bird is bird. And you start having the pigeon evolve into more of a pheasant. Which, honestly, this is better. This is a lot better. You get more of an expressive face. So you can actually see kind of a little bit more. You can view this Pokemon as a character you're growing with without forcing it to be a character. Still just burb. But better burb. Put it... there. There. There? No, not that high. Maybe just the top of HM Slave. It's still just a burb. Tranquil has an awful shiny. Oh, I have never seen Tranquil shiny. I am excited. Let's see this thing. What? Why? Hang on, is that Pidove as well? No! What? That's even worse! Where does that come from? God, that's such a weird shade of green for a bird. Oh, that's hilarious. That's disgusting. Okay then. Well, alright. That's a Statue of Liberty reference? I think that's the only thing you can point to. I guess it is kind of greeting people, so maybe. Sure. It's a Statue of Liberty pheasant. Why not? And then Unfezant, I actually think looks pretty sick. Like, they actually start Pokemonifying a little bit. Also, like, they enjoy the gender differences. I wish that Pokemon did that more. You see that so much throughout nature, and it's interesting to see how, like, various species would evolve in that way. It's a shame they don't have the sprite for the cooler version here. But I think this is fantastic. You know what? I think I even put it in shiny tier. Takes a second to get there, but solid bird evolution. I'm gonna put Pidgeotto. Just out of curiosity. I think it's stronger. There. What is the highest bird I've ranked? There's anything up there. Swell's not ranking that about very high. Staraptor? No, yeah, I think I can make that claim. I think of the bird evolutions that we've seen so far, this might actually be my favorite. I think it's very fun. Is this shiny bad? That is a fantastic question. I mean, the purple's a bit... What? Wait, what? So it just becomes violently green for no reason and then just swaps back? That's so bizarre. Did a completely different person design the shiny for this? Or did they accidentally tint it and just left it that way out of laziness? That's hilarious. Huh. Alright, well, still. Fun bird. I like the bird. Blitzle. Blitzle to me feels like a Generation 8 Pokemon. It's got such simplistic patterns, such a simplistic expression. Pony to 2? Barely. Like, for an electric zebra, is that really the best you could do? Is this based off a myth at all? Based off the 2 of the steeds of Helios' chariot. Oh! Well, that's fun. Although, if you're gonna make that comparison, now I have to look up what that might look like. Helios. Actually, I don't need to look up that chariot, because I can just... Kid, Icarus, Fox, and Lux. Just saying, if you're gonna go for that kind of lightning horse thing, you can go a little harder than that. I'm just saying. Just saying. But I think this one falls under frustration pretty easily for me. Another idea that, like, could have been really cool, but they kind of just did the bare minimum with it. I wouldn't want to trade it, though, because I want to see if it evolves into something better. And it gets a little better. Not much, though. It gets horns, an electric tail. Let me see your sprite, actually. If the stripes light up yellow when it uses an attack, do we have any showcase of that? I'd give it points for that. Doesn't seem to be the case, though. Directions. Hey, okay, okay. Is that the shiny, or is that actually what it does? This is important. I'm going the wrong direction. Where's the shiny? There it is. I don't like coloration, but alright, alright. Sprites do light up. It's in the Gen 5 sprite. You'd think I'd remember, like, how Bulbapedia is laid out after this long, but no. Okay, okay, that's a bit better. That's a bit better. I think it only gets it up to, like, HM Slave for me. Like, I still think you could do so much more with the concept, but, like, at least you're doing something, and I appreciate you for that. That's the high end of HM Slave. That's almost an Everstone. I do still think I like Statue of Liberty Bird a little bit more, though. Okay, we got Geodude 2.0. And you know, strangely, like, it's so simplistic, but it kind of works here. I like the eye carved into the rock. I like the bizarre little, just, alfalfa hairstyle growing out of it. You know what it is? It actually has detail, is a thing. Like, what I was complaining about with... What's the initial version before Zebstrika? I can't even remember. What I was complaining about Blitzle. You can actually see the detail in the rock. It's not just a simplistic sphere like you get with, like, Tepig or something like that. It's not an eye, it's an ear? Oh, hello. That's fun. As far as how shields, one is an energy core hexagonal hole is its ear. That's fun! I like that. Yeah, this fits that kind of bizarro sort of... Here's this world of Pokemon where even inanimate objects can start shifting and coming to life, and it does it in a fun way, where it's not just, oh, here's a boulder with a face on it. No, it's got more to it. I think that's genuinely fantastic. At least at first. I think. It's so simple, but it works for what it's trying to do. I respect that. Somewhere up here? Feels weird to put it this high. But I'll stick with it. Where did I put Geodude? Just as a point of comparison for me. Everstone? That feels about right. It is a little too boulder with a face. But no, this one does it in an interesting way. And then Boldore, like, it grows off of it in an interesting way. It becomes a tripod-like creature. Little gems jutting out of it. I do want to know what the gems do, though. Oh, yeah, it's the kind of power charge thing, right. You know, it kind of gives me almost Metagross vibes. Not as strong, but I think it's pretty good. Oh, I thought it looked like a crab. Yeah, it does kind of give crab vibes. Just this bizarre tank rock. I like it. I like it a lot. Yeah, I think this is strong. It's a solid midline. It clearly expands on the initial idea. But you look at this and you're like, oh, I can't wait to see what this thing evolves into. That's going to be so cool. And yeah, it is pretty cool. If I remember correctly, which I might not be, does the sprite actually light up? I have a memory of it doing so when I would use one in, I think it was Gen 7? Doesn't seem like it, at least for Gen 5, but I think the 3D model does, if I'm remembering right. Regardless, it's just cool. Like, this is what I want from some rock Pokemon. But just give me this behemoth of a creature that just looks like a mountain got up and started charging at you. This is easily the best one we've seen so far. I think only when it attacks? Okay, okay. Well, it does that, and that's what's important. Oh god, this thing. Just... Why? I guess if we're gonna continue down the sort of, okay, this is Zubat 2.0, they replace the super unfriendly design with a somewhat more friendly design? But it's still got the same annoying-ass roll. It's just a fuzzball with wings as well. What if we took Vonnie from Zelda and made him cute? It doesn't offend me, but this is another one that I would immediately see it and just nope out. No thank you. Which is a shame, because Zoobat was fantastic. That was a great little dangerous-looking cave critter. This just... It looks like it was designed to be a marketable plushie. It evolved to be a marketable plushie. But it has a role in the game where you would never want one. Yes, exactly. Bats can be cute. But make a cute bat then. Not whatever the hell this is. What does an actual Honduran white bat look like? Yeah, you can do more with this. Come on. Yeah. It's a dumb. Let's see. And then at least it's more. I can give some credit for that, I guess. But it also just looks off and bad. That's not as bad. It's got its eyes closed and it's just... No, I hate that it's always smiling. At least here I can kind of get into the simplicity. But now it looks like it's actually got intelligence behind its eyes, and that is unsettling. What's up with the legs? Are those legs? That's a great question. It's a tail. Shakes its tail vigorously when it emits ultrasonic waves strong enough to reduce concrete to rubble. Damn! Doesn't give it any points, but that's badass. I do kind of like the idea, actually. That's something that looks like this. Just cries out, and an entire skyscraper just collapses around it. It's still ugly, though. I'm seeing it in motion. Where's its sprite? Oh, and it's bobbing around, too. Ugh! Oh, the tail! Yes. No. No. You're trying to do things, but... No. No, 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 no. No, thank you. Drilbur. It's very simple. That much is obvious. Again, kind of looks like a later generation Pokemon. It looks like it was designed for a 3D model. But it's not bad. It's a perfectly serviceable mole. That's not the most flattering picture right now. You're a bit excited there, Drilbur. I'm never gonna be able to see that now. Like how it clamps its arms together over its head to form a drill. And rotating at high speeds. So through the sub-point with claws together and rotating at high speeds. It's the thing that's holding me up is that it's just sheer simplicity. Simply by being a mole makes it a good fit for a ground type, so I'm willing to give it points for that. And it's friendly enough, but I think I like the bird more than that. You know what? The answer there is just to do like maybe the very bottom of Everstones for it. But that's fine, because then when you get to Excadrill, now we're talking. Now we got some things going. I think the weird, like, second neck it has to have for the spike, that one's a little weird. Especially, like, what is this? Like, the little red, like, muscle bulging out between the gap? That is bizarre. What the? Wait. Hang on. Okay. That's fascinating. Honestly, it does not look as good as a 3D model. At least not in Pokemon Snap. That doesn't... The 2D artwork did way more favors for it. That's pretty decent. Hey guys, just one of many examples of the loss of personality to 3 animation. You got him just really hunched over here, like opening and closing his claws. He's ready to go. And then just here, just awkwardly T-posing, barely moving. Oh, that's a sick shot. Oh, that's good. That's a good one. Yeah, you see it from the right angle, and it looks absolutely badass. The wrong angle... I think it's really just that... It's like muscular texture on that hump. And that looks weird. Even so, though, I think it's overall very, very good. It's kind of landing low, shiny, high Everstone for me. Here? There? I'd say here, yeah. You know what it is? I think if they just kind of extended that horn a little more into a kind of a plated back armor, I think that would fix it for me. Make it kind of like an overlapping kind of armored plate, kind of like what, how Rhyhorn's body works. Something like that might have looked a little better for me. There's a cool question I forgot. How they compare it to Dugtrio? I cannot stand the one Pokemon is actually 3 Pokemon. I mean, 3 Pokemon is actually 1 Pokemon. That's cheating. Get out of here. So, significantly better. I do definitely think these are the better moles than Diglett and Dugtrio. I thought that the Sensor Sandslash, they are kind of both. Little fusion dance of the two. That's, you know what? That's why it's humps like that. It's just a Diglett growing out of the Sandshrew. That's literally it. Audino, you kind of just exist, don't you? Oh, hate that. Feelers on its ears act like stethoscopes. It can feel the beat of another Pokemon's heart. That's too specific for me. Using feelers to maybe, like, search for bugs, and maybe they can use those in the Poke Center. But no, having it specifically designed for that, especially when compared to, like, the Chanseys, which just give out the eggs to kind of fill a basic need. This is so hyper-focused. Not a fan. That said, visually, it's fine. Just this kind of face sprite creature. Like, I would never use one, but there's an audience for an Audino. What are you based off of? Audino was designed with the anime in mind. Oh yeah, there you go. There you go. It's the only Gen 5 Pokemon with a Mega... Wow! Really? Huh. That's weird. Of all the Pokemon, Audino. So weird to make for... It's not a fairy type? Not until you're a Mega. What a bizarre Pokemon. Huh. I'm gonna put it just kind of in the middle of HM Slaves, because it's inoffensive, but it's also doing absolutely nothing for me. Oh, fucking Timburr. I hate these three. I hate these three so much. When I was talking about the kind of evolving into basic... Like, evolving with basic materials, how is the wood, like, part of them? Is the building material also Pokemon that's going through a Pokemon evolution? Just, I hate them so much. It also just clicked with me. I don't look at these very much because I don't like looking at them. But the pink is supposed to be like bulging veins as well? Seeing stuff like this makes me a lot more forgiving of like the Machop lines and the problems I had with that. Because this whole line, just get the fuck out of my face. I hate looking at you. No, thank you. No, 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 no. Also clowns for some reason, right. Just big old red noses. What are you based off of? There's for ogres from European for sure. All for are based on construction workers. You don't say. Swollen veins from physical labor to its clown nose and buff body, also based on a muscle man Carney from a carnival slideshow. Also might be based on an elderly person since the Great Tough. I love these sorts of origin things. Like, well, it might be this, or this, or this, or... Ugh. Yeah, no thank you. No thank you. I hate running into them. You know, hold on, I'm gonna put... The fact that it's holding a steel girder. Like, that specifically just... I don't know why, but that drives me nuts. Wooden plank became steel girder. Like, I can at least believe, like, okay, it's got, like, basic rocks from the concrete. You can just grab the street below you and pick those up, but a perfectly sliced steel Gurdurr. Ugh. Timple. I think this thing's adorable. In fact, I like this significantly more than Poliwag. What's the name of the game the Brawl in the Family guy made? Tadpole Trevel, I think. If I remember correctly, I think this is a kind of music-based... Yeah, it's a music-based Pokemon. And it's cute! I like it! Solid, cute Pokemon. Unfortunately, it has to evolve. God damn, does it evolve? What? Why? It's... For Dungeons and Dragons fans, you know the Fomorians? With just the pustules growing out of the face? That's what I think of when I look at these things. You have Palpitoad sprites? Okay, I'll check the sprites. See if this sells me on it. It is bouncy. Okay, you know what? That is pretty good. Okay, hang on. Let's read the Pokedex. Alright, they bump on their heads. They make waves in water, earthquake-like vibrations on land. See how they catch prey. Give me an animation. It looks so stupid. You know what? I think it's hideous. But it is a funny kind of hideous. We're kind of in Patrat territory here. I don't like it as much as Timple. Oh, I need to watch that sprite for longer. What the hell? Alright, ads are playing the audio. Gotta love that. Ad block is not working currently. That's lovely. Can't see the very right of the bullet page, by the way. Oh, thank you for pointing that out to me. Let me resize this. There. Sorry, I just kept scrolling while I was looking at the... There you go. There you are. Give me the face. It is a good face. That is a very funny face. But I think it does ultimately kind of hit that same issue with Tepig for me. Where it's just a little too... it's too egg. And with an idea this funny, I think I would want more. So I think, unfortunately, I'm going to put it at the top of frustration. But that's because I'm enjoying what it's bringing to the table. I would just want something greater from it. I don't think Seismitoad is a very strong ending for the... Like, imagine, for example, take it kind of like a Ludicolo vibe. But it's got these little, just bubbles along its body. And it just kind of hits it into things to make sound. using them almost as maracas. This would be a great kind of dancer-ish Pokemon. But he's just got pustules, and they vibrate. I really don't like that there's 2 on his head. I think the rest of his body is just fine. But the 2 on the head... Weirdly, you know what else I think about? For any Monster Hunter fans out there? Just... imagine this, but as a drummer and a frog. Because you got, like, the whole, like, circular stuff going on. Made it kind of just drum around and hit things for the vibrations. I think there's solid ideas here. I just think the execution is a little lacking. Also, what is that on the... oh gosh, does it have more on its back? Yeah. Oh, that's so hideous. Why does it clap its cheeks together on its face? Oh, that's so bad. Oh my god. Do it again. Oh my god. That is hilarious, though. Oh my god. I'm wonder trading this. But wow, is that funny. Let's... oh, you fuckers. Get out of here. Don't even have to look at their Pokedex entries. I can't stand clothing on Pokemon. And just what? Just, oh, we want to do fighting styles. How do we do that? Oh, let's just put Geese. Fill them up with something. It's such a nothing. It is such a nothing. Hey, at least you do something with the Hitmons. At least you do something with the Machops and the Machokes. Also, what is with this, like, weird half... Does Throh have that? Is it the other half of his face? Nope, it's the full face. Is there trivia for that? Based off of a karate protection. No! I'm so shocked. During development, Sawk and Throh both had horns, which may have hinted their designs beautifully. See, that would have been so cool! Can I... where is that? Can I find, like, a link to that? Sawk, Throh... original design. I'm not finding... I'm seeing this artwork, though, by M-Block. And, like, I still don't like it, but, like, this is better. Going for kind of more of a goblinoid sort of look for them. I can get down for that. If you mix it with some kind of creature, I think that would actually be pretty cool. But as they are now, nah, they're terrible. I hate them. Moving on to something that's actually pretty great. I love the Sewaddle line. I don't really have much I can say about that, actually. Like, it's an adorable bug, and I love the leaf encapsulating its full body. It's cute! What's the bug it's based off of? Silver Spotted Skipper. What is a Silver Spotted Skipper? That is a butterfly. Where's the caterpillar? Yeah! Caterpillar's a caterpillar. Who knew? Oh, that's adorable. Just kind of tucking its head over so it can sleep. Oh, I love these. I love these so much. Fantastic bugs. And in fact, I love this entire line. I think Swadloon is one of the best cocoon Pokemons. Because it's a clear cocoon, but you still let its face pop out, so it's just kind of done. It looks like a child that's just wrapped a blanket around them and you can only see their face. It's just sleepy. He's grumpy. I love him. Also S tier. And then Leavanny is such a strong ending for this line. Like, you get a caterpillar, you're expecting the butterfly, but you get this, like, mantis face sprite creature, and it looks so good! It's like a weaver for the Sewaddles, which is adorable. Which has been kind of rare up to this point. We haven't had many Pokemon where they actually describe the lifestyle and how the higher evolutions take care of the lower ones. But having Leavanny's kind of nurture the prior evolutions to raise them to be Leavanny's of their own, that's adorable. I love that. Easy S tier. I might like it more than Gigalith. I think actually, you know what? Yeah, I do like it more than Gigalith. Gigalith just looks cool. Looks fantastic, but that's kind of all it's got to it. Leavanny line, entire way from start to finish, fantastic. Venipede. That's... You know, I'll give it points. It's a bizarre kind of body setup, but it works. Just this kind of weird, disgusting... Oh, I like how it undulates, too. At least for the sprite. Bright coloration makes it very clear that, hey, don't let this thing bite you. You know, yeah, this is a good kind of simplicity to him. I like this. I think this is a solid A tier. Whirlipede is a bizarre one. Alright. Because it's just wheel. But for bugs, that kind of works. Because you got like the whole roly-polies. I can't remember what those things are actually called. It's got these weird antennae to help it stop. I don't know how you exist. But you amuse me so greatly. I guess you can consider it as another quasi-cocoon Pokemon in that regard. So it's more just gestating to become whatever the big version's called. I can never remember off the top of my head. Scolipede. it can also just zoom while doing so. Pill bugs, thank you. That's what they're called. See your Pokedex entry. Usually motionless when attacked, rotates at high speed and crashes into its opponent. Okay, the fact that it's not always rolling around gives it significant points for me. Because it's still taking the role of a cocoon, it just has a defense mechanism. Which it has chosen for some reason to be rolling around at the speed of sound. I like it. I do think the... just the splicing antennas have never looked good to me. I kind of wish those just weren't there. I understand it's kind of just to showcase that, hey, this thing needs to be able to stop. I just wish that they found a different way of doing that, because it looks a little stapled on. I understand the use of them still looks stapled. Scolipede. I have never had to think this very hard about this Pokemon. This might take me a second. Think it would look dumb without the stingers, to be honest? No, a second. I'm just gonna cover them up. My fingers for a second. You know what, yeah, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. Maybe if this was something where, like, the stingers were retractable for me, that might be better. Check the shiny. For Lillipup or Skull, I'll do both. Because I am curious. That is... probably weren't talking about that one, because that's a nothing shiny. But for this one... huh. You know, it's not much, but the color contrast is quite nice. Yeah, this one is a weird one for me. This Centauroid Centipede. It's certainly unique, and I'm giving it major points for that. Like, I don't know if I've seen a bug design like this in anything. Love that it looks fairly bulky. Yeah, it's a very chunky bug. Huh. Can I get a few more action shots of this thing? It's moments like this, when it actually looks kind of horse-like, that gives me a little bit of Uncanny Valley. I'm not quite sure why. I'm trying to figure out where that's coming from. I think it's the face. I think I wish the face was a little meaner. Because, like, this one... like, what are you... Are you trying to seduce the camera? What's going on here? It's... Gosh, this is a hard one for me. Because, like, it's uncanny, but I think the uncanny elements to it are a strength to the design. Any other series, this would be a horror monster? Yeah, I kind of just wish it leaned just a little bit more in that direction. Just a bit. If there was, like, an unsettling mouth that would just open in all directions for a second. Or something like that. You know what? Hang on. Hang on. I want to see... Because I see the love in chat. I want to try to... Oh my god! Okay, so, I get it a little bit more now. Holy shit! Just want to see more... Ew. Gonna pretend like you never saw that. Yeah, it's often bizarre to look at, but I don't think that's because the design is bad. I think that's because it's genuinely a bizarre-looking creature. Look up card artwork? Sure. Scolipede card artwork. Yeah, some of these are good, some of them... like, this kind of angle... You know what else it might be? It might be that the underside just looks a little... for lack of a better way of putting it, naked. I wish it was a little segmented there as well. Or there was something else going on there. Maybe have a bit of, like, a Metroid-ish texture going on? I don't know. That's not what it looks like, but that's a sick design, whoever drew that. Okay. I think I've hooted and hawed enough about this. I think, ultimately, it's still cool. I can't quite put it in Pokerus, because it does still feel a little off to me, but I think this is, overall, super solid line, from start to finish. I like it more than Serperior. Wheel is funnier, though. Yeah, this feels good. This feels good. Okay. Cottonee! Just an adorable little fluff. Like, what more can you really say about this thing? It's a piece of cotton with eyes. Just sort of... That's a good point, Grimlock. Let me do that real quick. Just because we are kind of looking through this. One moment. Just so we don't get jump scared by anything particularly degenerate or nasty. That's a good call. How do you turn this on? I don't actually know. Is it already on? There we go. Okay. Thank you. Appreciate it. Is there anything more to this thing? When it's attacked, it shoots cotton like an octopus. It's kind of neat. But yeah, little cotton clouds. I highly doubt there's anything more to this thing. Yeah, yeah. It's not much, but like it's kind of gives you those oddish vibes, you know? Super simplistic, but it's adorable, and it fulfills what you'd expect from a grass-type Pokemon. Where did I put oddish? Bottom of shinies? I do think it's got this weird mix of detail and simplicity that does feel a tiny bit off to me, but still very good. And then Whimsicott's just adorable. I love Whimsicott. Big fan of Fey-ish grass Pokemon. And this is another good example of that. Inspiration, more reasons for Whimsicott more than the actual design. Price, furniture. Oh yeah, they even leaned into the Fey nature. Love that. They can take the cotton off? What? Where? I am not seeing a shaved Whimsicott. Unless I just scrolled past it like a doofus. Google Whimsicott lock. Yeah, sure, sure. Whimsicott without cotton. Hang on, can I get this full screen? Look at this! What? I get some major points too. Nah, it's a great grass-type Pokemon. I think this is another S tier. Something like here? Yeah. God, that's so funny. And then Petilil, which honestly, also pretty good. We're keeping with the kind of face sprite grass type theming for this generation, and I'm a fan. Again, very, very simple. But again, it almost gives like a ghost type Pokemon, almost. Which I think is a strength to it. Again, very simplistic. But I think this one is also super duper solid. Yeah, like a little bit more than Cottonee. Don't think it's quite shiny, though. You know what it is? You know what it is that separates Oddish from these two? I think it's just as simple as Oddish has a mouth that lets it emote better. The fact that these two don't just make them feel a little more muted, so I'm not as excited about their designs. And they don't have enough other appendages to express themselves in other ways. Lilligant, though, has those appendages. And is just adorable. The default version. Hisuian 1 gets something uncanny from me. But I like baseline Lilligant a lot. Like, it's just cute. Continuing down the Fae train for another great Fae. Pokemon with celebrities. Relaxing effect. I love little things like this. Where the flowers of the, or herbs or whatever, of the grass-type Pokemon has effect on people. I'd agree with that Jumping Fool. I think the Hisuian isn't as good. Let me see the sprite. And weirdly, I know what I just said, but the fact that Lilligant does not have a mouth lets it stand apart from the other kind of Fae-ish grass types also pretty nicely. Because it gets into that more kind of Dryad-esque dancing through the forest. You barely see it from the corner of your eyes. Yeah. This has been a very good generation for grass types. As long as we ignore this little monkey down here. It's not a fairy? What? But Whimsicott is? That doesn't make any sense. Doesn't even have a second type. Huh. Alright. Basculin. That sure is a fish. Are you supposed to be a piranha, or what fish are you? Just a base. Wait, what was that? Hold on. Selection of colors formed being red, white, and blue may reference the natural... Ah, yes! The patriotic bass fish! We love to see it! Hisui rescued Basculin so hard. Absolutely agreed. Check trivia, the quite literally filler. Form. Late in development, you realized there were few new standard fish-like Pokemon in Unova. So given 2 months to make up for this? No. Okay, yeah, no, it is very literally filler. And as such, I would wonder trade this in a heart. Well, the fact that Basculin exists later, how do I handle that? Because, like, it's not a bad fish design. It's just that it's just a fish. Yeah, no, I think we... It's an HM slate. I'm being too harsh on it. Better than your Gold... I'd push back on that. Goldine's got a nice regal thing to it. Like, got the kind of... Where's Goldine in this? The kind of flowing robes from behind it. There's something there. Basculin's just fish. But in that matter... It's also a fish, and that's fine. Actually, I'm curious. I haven't seen Basculegion's design in a while. No, yeah, that's significantly better. We'll get to that eventually. Sandile. Oh, you're so cute. I love you. Which, first off, this is another case kind of like the, Slowpoke line. Where you were taking a traditionally, like in Slowpoke's case, it's traditionally a grounded creature and making it aquatic, and that's kind of what makes it special. Here, you're taking a traditionally aquatic creature and making it fully grounded in the deserts. It's simple, but it works really, really well. And I wish Pokemon did that more. Also, how they kind of justify the weird markings on its eyes by just having to protect itself from the sand constantly going into its face. Don't you have to read the Pokedex for that, I just know that's the thing. Because it's a really strong design. Sandile's fantastic. Love this little goober. Oh yeah, I think this is a fantastic ground-type Pokemon. Again, it's in a similar vein that Slowpoke gets so high, just based off of that simple concept. It's such a strong way to breathe new life into a Pokemon type, just asking like, well this fish is normally aquatic, but what if it was suddenly flying? Or something like that. More, please. And we get to a Krokorok. Which has always struck me as a Gex character. Am I alone in that? But again, still a super fun design. I love how this whole line creates images of, like, you kind of got that, like, villain mask going for it, but it keeps the rest of the patterns along the body consistent enough where that doesn't feel out of place. Which is something that so many other Pokemon absolutely fail at, but they cleverly kind of just integrate that so you get both the fun theming while still keeping it grounded in just as being a Pokemon. But yeah, I love this entire line. I think it's one of the strongest ones in this generation. I think Krookodile. It's just fun. It's fun. Oozes personality. But it's just based on how they look. You can get away with them emoting differently because the stripe pattern is consistent. I love that. Doesn't quite beat these ones for me. I will say, I think I like Sandile the most, and it gets just a little bit weaker as it goes along. But that's only because I would love to see, like, a fully embraced, like, sand crocodile. Something like a... Hang on. Something like a Genmoron. I would have loved to see that version of Sandile. But this is also pretty strong. I think I'd move Krookodile to the bottom of this because of that. It's also slightly too wide. I can see that. How am I doing today? I'm tired. Very tired. But that's why we're going over Pokemon. Just something simple and fun. And we're having a good time with it. I think the red on the dials... Yeah, that's true. The red is a bit of out of place. It was more of a consistent gradient. I'd be a bigger fan of the red. You might have just dropped it down to the shiny for me for that, with that. Yeah, I'll keep it next to Scolipede, because they do kind of have the same sort of thing there. Well, they're just a little bulbous. That looks just a little off. No, the red is cool. I agree, but I would want it to gradient more. And it just doesn't. Actually, hold on. We'll base it off of this. Do they explain why it's red in the Pokedex? Sandstorms, fly on my patient afraid to appear. Well, that's fun. Love things like this. Let's come inside. Yeah. What's the shiny? This won't affect it at all. I'm just curious. That's certainly interesting. We got the like a mech pilot almost. Do I remember what my Gen 5 team was? I've actually never played a Gen 5 game. This is the generation I have the least familiarity with. All my experiences with these Pokemon are from later games, or like fan mods, like the Fusion mod. Roshania, there's a reason. If it was still brown and black, it would look fine. It's the fact that it goes yellow for some reason. Actually, that's... Now I'm curious, though. Did these go red, then? For the shiny? Or is it also orange and yellow? No, it keeps the consistent color pattern. It's just the regular version that splits off. God, that looks so weird. Alright. But no, I feel good about that. Highly recommend the Gen 5 games. I know they're supposed to be the best ones. I'm just at a point in my life where I don't have a lot of patience for longer RPGs in general. Like, Baldur's Gate 3 is still unfinished on my desktop. And I just can't find a time to get around to it. Okay, Darumaka. I know you've got stuff. Yeah, the Daruma doll. So first off, I'm just curious. Oh, yeah. Very much so. The composite sort of culture of Unova has always been so fascinating to me in this regard. So you got, like, European nobility-inspired stuff here. You got the Japanese stuff here. It's also based in Europe. Sorry, America. Which I suppose is, like, the whole melting pot kind of deal. It's just interesting. Ah, that's a good way of putting it. It's based on New York, which has all sorts of, like, Harlem and Chinatowns and just all sorts of diasporas. I like that. But yeah, Darumaka, kind of in a Roggenrola state where it's so simple that I can't, like, I'll immediately justify putting it in Poker's tier, but it's strong. It's solid. I like it. Although that might just be because I know what it evolves into. Which Darmanitan is so good. The fact that it's got this shift from the Zen mode to the full, like, gorilla-based read Pokedex and Darumaka? Yeah, sure. If bird cannot come down, it runs around the fire diminishes, falls asleep. Sleeps, splits limbs, body, internal fire goes up to a lot. Darumaka's droppings are hot, so people used to put them in their clothes to keep themselves warm. Sure. Okay. That's interesting. But yeah, Darmanitan's great. Burns at 2,500 degrees Fahrenheit, making enough power that can destroy a dump truck with one punch. When weakened, it transforms into a stone statue, and then it sharpens its mind and fights on mentally. And that kind of just swapping back and forth between forms really gives it some strength. Because if it was just the monkey, like, it kind of hits that same Tepig sort of issue where it's very, very spherical. But given the kind of dolls it's based off of, how it curls up like this into the statue, I think it's a very solid Pokemon. I think something like here or here. It's an S tier. It's an S tier. I might move them around a little bit more. But overall, super duper strong. Oh, and let's move that second form to the bottom. Maractus! We finally got a decent cactus Pokemon. Cacturn was disappointing, but again, like the whole grass-type Fey theme for this region is so solid. You know, it's forgettable, but he's cute. Yeah, I agree. I agree. The fact it doesn't evolve at all, I feel is a bit of a missed opportunity. But I think design-wise, it's absolutely fantastic. Would love to see an evolution for this one at some point in the future. But even as just a standalone, I think this is great. I think it joins the rest of these. Maybe not quite. No, it's fantastic. Gives a completely different vibe with the kind of jack-o'-lantern face it's got going. Feels a bit more crazed. Cacnea was alright until they evolved. Maractus is cute. I think Cacnea was... Where did I put Cacnea, actually? I would expect... No, you're Gen 3, right? Yeah. Everstone, yeah. Like, it's fine. It has a bit limited in how it expresses itself, and I've never liked how it kind of just flails around. Maractus, though, Maractus has got spunk. Dwebble. Dwebble's cute. Kind of getting into the Sandile stuff of like, okay, what if we take this generally aquatic creature and theme it around being, like, terrestrial instead? I think it's fantastic. Like, it's such a simple design, but, like, genuinely, I think it's an S tier. Pretty easily S tier. It's such a it's so simple. It's just Hermit Crab, but with rock instead. But that's a great idea. And then crust. It just got a chunk of the earth out, slapped it on its back, kept on moving forward. The fact that it has different sedimentary lines on its shell is amazing. I agree. I agree. Gives it the sense that it's just been slowly building up on its back. Yeah, Crustle's also fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. I think it's one of the best designs in this generation. Have you seen the guys' costumes? I have not. Oh, I didn't even think about that. That's cursed, though. Crustle without its rock, that's cursed. Wish I didn't see that. Are they here, or do I have to Google those separately? Crustle Unite. This is important. I want to know. Yeah, see, that's just beautiful. That's wonderful. Love it. 10 out of 10. Across the board. Just got a whole temple on its back. The best. Okay. Oh, Scraggy. Scraggy's the pants Pokemon. Saw that the culture in the time was all about those baggy shorts. We gotta have that on a Pokemon in some way. It's constantly shedding its skin. I think this is a stupid Pokemon. Just constantly trying to pull its... No, not a fan. Not a fan. Oh gosh, it's even textured like pants in the end. Ugh. That on top of how it's got one of those facial layouts where it's so locked into how it can express itself. Not a fan of this design. I'd want to trade this thing. Outrageous clothing, it's also skin shedding. It's still just such a forced implementation of it. Just this weird lizard that's in a permanent state of only half shedding its skin. No, I don't like it. There's no time. Was that what that was? Yeah, this. Huh. Fascinating. I almost didn't realize there was a shiny there for a second. That is a terrible shiny. Fair Stylies and the Punker as a Lizard Crest and Scrafty is kind of clever. On Scrafty, yeah, I can see that. Gosh, it still looks so stupid, though. The big thing for me is that if you're going for, like, a punk lizard, and this is the best you can come up with, I'm not a fan. I mean, I can look to later generations and see stuff like Obstagoon existing. As stupid as I think the pants are, I think what kills it for me is the face. Just the face, it walks... It can't not be grouchy. Oh god, where's its skin? I hate that. I hate that so much. God, in motion, I hate it even more. Just, it looks so weird. Reminder, this is skin. That doesn't help. This is one of those cases where the human element of what they're trying to do is overtaking what, like, nature does. And it just feels forced to me. You know, I'm curious. Google Scrafty. Does anybody else try to tackle this in a way that's fun? They have. I hate most of them. Ooh, hang on. This one I'm a fan of. Turning it into a fire type. That looks sick. But they go so far on the baggy shorts and the hoodie. It's leaning too heavily on the theme. I'm not fond of it. Oh, yeah, I'm seeing other, like, punk-inspired Pokemon like Toxicity that come later. Yeah, exactly, Dr. Zeus. I think that is also hurting it a lot for me. Just God, I see so much artwork like this. Like, this just looks so stupid. I'm sorry. Like, made of leaves or plant material look less weird. I think for me, it's more that the skin is, like, never shed. You know? The fact that it's permanently in this state of just constantly hanging on the lizard, that just feels bizarre. I'm not a big fan. Scrafty feels like this is a boomer's idea of punk hoodlum. Like, these darn kids can't even pull up their pants. Line said even yeah, Croagunk's another great example. Croagunk's fantastic. This is just... No, I'm sorry. I don't like this line. You know what I do like, though? What's absolutely fantastic? Sigilyph is so cool. I believe this is based... I don't want to say it in case I get the culture wrong. Nazca lines. Yeah. Which is just so cool. It's so cool. This is weird totem-esque, just unnervingly unwieldy creature. This is one of the best psychic Pokemon, in my opinion. Because it just feels off in the best way possible. Sigilyph is the closest the American region comes to based on Native American stuff, which is a shame. I wish they did more with that. Because there's so much cool stuff in Native American culture. But as the one representative, it's so good. It's so good. Like, this might be the top of S tier for me. Let me read its Pokedex. This becomes relevant when compared to Leavanny. Because the members are guarding an ancient city remain steadfast. Enemies that invade their territory. Guardians of an ancient city? That... Someone said they felt like an unknown evolution. Being tied to ancient time really leans into that. What's the shiny look like as well? I don't think I've ever seen it. Ooh! It's also pretty good! Oh gosh, in motion too, just look at that! Just the bottom legs moving out of synchronization. Oh, it's so unsettling in the best way, I love it! I think it's too reminiscent of Tizatu? Absolutely not. Gosh, I wish that this aesthetic was here more often. There's so much more you can do with it. I want to see a lizard with this kind of setup. I want to see like a proper, just like Unfezant kind of just regional bird. You can do so much with this aesthetic. In Pokemon Go, Sigilyph. Oh, ooh, that is a little bit cringe. With you there. Don't fault them too terribly hard for that, because a big part of why people don't know this is Native American culture is because you barely ever see that in media. I don't think it's quite as fair to complain about people not understanding where something is from, where nobody's actually making anything to explain it to them, you know? So, I think I like Leavanny just a little bit more, because I love how the kind of the evolutionary line interacts with each other, and how the Leavanies go back and take care of the lower evolutions. With actually saying that, I'm gonna bring you guys up a little bit more. You guys are pretty great. But still, Sigilyph, 10 out of 10 design. Your mask. What is it that you're based off of? You're something specific, but I can't remember what it is. A ba, yes. Person's soul typically depicted as a bird with a human head. Both appearing after the person's death. Yeah, grabbing a little bit of ancient Egypt mythology. Which is pretty cool. Just straight up unnerving ghost Pokemon, which I'm a big fan of. I think this one's also fantastic. A little simple, so it doesn't get into like the higher echelons of S tier, but still fantastic. But then when it evolves, just wow. Check the bow, guys. Oh, sorry. Yeah. Here's the master used to face when it was human. Sometimes they will look at it and cry. These Pokemon are from the spirits people interred in graves and past ages. Each retains memories of its former life. Wanders through the ruins by night, carrying the mask that set over in the face. It was when still human. So these are just straight up dead people. That is the best kind of unnerving. But yeah, Cofagrigus? Cofagrigus? I have no idea how to say that properly. It's been said that they swallow those that get too close and turn them into mummies. They like to eat gold nuggets. They pretend to be elaborate coffins to teach lessons to grave robbers. Oh, that's fun! That's fun! And for real, coffins get too close and end up trapped inside their bodies. That's really good. Oh, because you get like historical evolution-based stuff there, because you got the masks just wandering around, lost spirits. But then people start upsetting their graves, and they start just evolving to fight off against that. Oh, that's so good! That's so good! No, yeah. Right up there. Right up there. So good. Actually, maybe even... No, yeah. It's arguably a bit of headcanon on my part, but I love the concept of just the idea that this is an evolution sparked by grave robbers because of people just unearthing the sites of these dead Pokemon. That's so good. Tirtouga, we're getting to the fossils. I think I've done my spiel on fossil Pokemon. This one in particular just feels This one bugs me. Because you specifically going back to the past for a fossil. Why are you just a sea turtle? Like, this is an easy frustration for me. Like, I fully admit that its actual visual design is pretty good. But it's at the top of frustration because of that. But for what you could be? Come on. At least Caracosta does a little bit with, like, having more of, like, the jutting bone-like armor. But even then, it's got some weird stuff too. Like, why does its fin have those 3 weird finger-like juts but not fingers? Actually, is that something that turtles actually have? I might be talking out of my ass right now. Give me bones. Those sure are turtle bones. It's such a shame, because I feel like I'd like this so much more if it wasn't a fossil. But the fact that they use that design space here, just, that's so bizarre. I don't understand it. I'll give it points, though. It's at least trying to do something. Put it next to Zebstrika for that. Oh my god, right? Holy Cinderblock. These fossils could have easily pulled from Native American culture as they were the first people in the US to make them way more interesting. There's so much. There's so much. It's frustrating. Like, I won't bore you all with my spiel on fossil Pokemon, because I've done that for every single one of these, but I feel like they have consistently been a tragic missed opportunity with what you could do for what kind of the crazy fossilized world of ages past could have looked like for a world like Pokemon. Archen and his evolution is at least better. Or we're actually getting into some, like, actual dinosaur stuff. Where all of these Pokemon types originally started at. Like, what is the progenitor of the fire type? What is the progenitor of the grass type? For a flying type progenitor, I think this is good. This might actually be one of the better fossil Pokemon, simply because of that for me. You see your sprite. You've always been very lively. But yeah, it's good. It's good. Good bird. Very good bird. Put it like I like him more than Excadrill. Here. Here. And then Archeops. Which, first of all, look at those colors. Great color balance. Let me see your sprite. I think someone said to check out the animation as well. The Kulu Yaku of the Pokemon world. Also, Archeops' Pokedex number is the same as its base stat total, and it's a number that has something to do with the indexing of prehistoric birds. Oh! Ooh! Ooh! A Dewey Decimal 5-6... Yeah, that's fun! Oh, that's great. I love that. Little things like that are so adorable. You see the Gen 6 animation? Sure thing. Archeops Gen 6 animation. Oh, I think I remember this. Skipping forward to Gen 6. Yo, that's actually great! One of the rare instances where they actually gave a Pokemon some personality in the animations. I love that. Bro, struggling fierce. Hasn't quite evolved to fly properly. But yeah, I think Archeops is pretty great. Awareness here is the question. About here? About here. I'm good with that. Is that the highest ranked fossil? Or is Bastiodon better? No, yeah. That's goes without saying. Still good though. Still good. Looking ahead, what Pokemon do you think will need someone to go back for? Nothing immediately jumps out. Actually, no. Maybe the genies. I'm not fond of the genies. Well, we'll see as we get there. Well, we're at Trubbish. Okay. Now, I don't feel as negatively towards Trubbish as I know a lot of people do. For kind of the same reason that I really like Muck and Coughing. It's a Pokemon that's presented in a way that is kind of just a natural response of the world towards pollution, which I think is neat. I don't think they are as strong as the Gen 1 equivalents, though. The Coughing line in particular. The Coughing line's fantastic, and Garbodor just does not compare to that. Which, again, I think... with Trubbish in particular, I think it's the face. It's the case for a lot of these Pokemon. Grimer is so great because he looks so happy. Same with Coughing. They are such expressive Pokemon. Whereas Trubbish is kind of... just dead face. I'm not a fan of that. That said, still decent. I think this is a decent Poison-type Pokemon. Put it right here. And then Garbodor. Better. Definitely better. Because we're going more for, like, proper monster, rather than something where you want to be expressive. Garbodor kind of fills out trio with Muck and Weezing its ground-based pollution, while Muck is water and Weezing is air. I can kind of see that, yeah. If I recall, Alolan Muck devours them. I really like the idea of those artificial... Ooh, I like that as well! Let that trash bag evolves into an exploded trash bag for its evolution. Too much garbage, the bag broke. Yeah, it's cute. I like that. I think what is holding me up a bit for Trubbish as well is how kind of just nondescript the garbage is, but I also don't really know how you fix that without looking ridiculous. You know what I wish? You know what I wish? I wish this was a Pokemon with multiple forms. Just different kinds of garbage, to give it that variety. Because it gets into this weird sort of... Like, I think Grimer works so well is because it's fluid. It's easy to embody that kind of liquid pollution because it can be whatever shape it wants to be. When you're going for the more physical stuff, it's just a little silly that every single trash bag breaks in the exact same way and has the exact same setup. Again, I think it would work a lot better if it had multiple forms. Or maybe, make it so the arms are retracted at first, and make it so the arms can pop out of any part of its body. That might also work really well. Make it more of like a Jabba the Hutt kind of body type. Like it's kind of just slowly dragging the garbage around, and it just picks up various bits and bobs and uses it as appendages. Okay, now that I've like talked this out, I think it's fun. I wish it was better. There's an idea there. Put it right here. It's weird that Weezing always gets another head in the same place. It's always the same size. That's fair. That's fair. Horror movie when someone uses a Garbodor to dispose of bodies. 1 second. Some of the ordering's feeling a little off to me. Does that feel better? I think that feels a little bit better. It's at the top of this kind of trio right here of like, okay, there's a really cool idea there. I wish you had done more with it. Okay. Zorua. Sure is a fox. Fun coloration for a fox, at least. I'll give it that. Do you have... Oh yeah, Kitsune stuff. Feels a little... Double dipping on the fox stuff has always felt a little weak to me, just with the fact that Vulpix and Ninetales was already there. Especially in a region like North America, where you've got a lot of cool Native American stuff in that regard that you could work with. Still, though, it's a serviceable fox. Can't really complain that much about it. It's just kind of... just in this mix of Pokemon. It's there. It's fine. Zorua does really feel like it's a... yeah, we needed a pre-evolution to Zoroark. I feel that. See everyone bring up the illusions. I like the idea of the illusions. I don't think I've ever seen it really utilized in a fun way. Maybe there's something fun in, like, Pokemon Arceus that I just haven't seen. But to me, it's always felt like an idea of, like, oh yeah, this is a Pokemon that can do that. What that means in gameplay just doesn't really matter. Or maybe I'm just not familiar with how it functions in, like, higher tier play. I don't know. Zoroark. I will say, first off, I like the Hisuian version way better. I feel like Zoroark might be the first example where we're getting into some, like, just straight-up furryified Pokemon designs. Which is an art style that I just find to be mediocre in general. It's... the way it does faces makes every expression look like whatever's making that expression is trying way too hard to have that expression. Like, I look at Zoroark and I think, oh wow, you're trying so hard to look cool. And something is lost for me there. Espinotel looking motherfucker. How does this rank compared to Lucario? It definitely ranks lower than Lucario for me. Because this is another step down that design path that I'm just not a big fan of. There's also some just bizarre oddities about its body. The razor-thin, like, forearms, but that's the only aspect of its body that is super-duper thin. I think it fits the theme of Pokemon trying to deceive. I'd agree with that for the Hisuian variant. I think the Hisuian variant looks so much better. Kind of just the hair flapping around wildly. For that kind of shape-shifting stuff, I'd want something that looked a little more amorphous. Just, God. Like, when you see the full aspect of its body, I don't like it. What are these weird chest tufts of hair? See how with a lot of Pokemon like this, they'll just have weird bits and bobs. Like, in the same way that Lucario just has that weird chest spike for no reason. Just little design flares that I don't understand. What? Is it just Kitsune stuff? Is there anything more here? Also resembles a werewolf. Well, if you're competing with Lycanroc, like, you're not going to win that. And Revenants make coloration based on the kingdom's fat. Like, if you're going... Zoroark's large mane being tied into a ponytail is supposed to be a stand-in for... Also, the fact that it has a ponytail! That just weirds me out! Hold on, this is another one. I want to see what... how other people have tackled the idea. Oh, hell yes! See, this is what I would want to see from a Zoroark. Something like this looks absolutely sick. So as you can tell, it's a fox-shaped creature, but you look closer and like, oh, something's off there. Like, kind of Displacer Beast-esque. It's another big reason I don't like the kind of furry art style a lot, because it all kind of generalizes so many different creatures and mythologies into the same, just constricted format, but when you can do so much more if you just have a little more freedom with it. Oh, that said, I do still think it's a pretty sleek design. Like, I can understand why people think it looks cool. If I was maybe a little younger when I first saw it, I might have agreed. Just not a fan. Where is Lucario? Where's Blaziken 2, for that matter? Blaziken's an HM Slaves. Lucario's an Everstone. Maybe there? What is this song? Village Bridge. That's also the ace of the most popular Poke. Oh, it's ends. Okay. Yeah, that'll help. That'll certainly help. Hisui Zoroark looks like it was designed specifically to be a partner Pokemon for Volo, a character who does not use one. Does Volo look like... Remind me real quick. Oh, Pokemon. Oh, yeah! Ha! That is true. Black White has some insane vocals. Yeah, I was surprised that I wasn't expecting this from a Pokemon OST. I'm enjoying it a lot, though. Yeah, I think Zoroark is HM Slaves. I don't hate it. It's not getting to a point of frustration that we'll get to later gens. But the decline is happening. Okay, Minccino. That's a chinchilla. Sure is. Definitely is. Is there anything to this thing's Pokedex? They are tidy. They groom. I think that might literally be it. It's just a feather duster. It's just a feather duster. I mean, it kind of just joins the ranks of, like, all these Pokemon. Like, it's a Pokemon. It's cute. Just doesn't really do anything else apart from that. And then, Cinccino has a scarf now. Do you do anything? Easy from the deflect attacks. Repels dust, prevents static electricity buildup. Yeah, it got a bit fluffier. Fun one to use in battle. I'm trying not to take into account, like, battle stats too much with this. Anime, it tickles a lot? Oh, because Feather Duster. Right, yeah. That makes sense. What's your sprite? You at least flow nicely? Oh! No! And in fact, that looks rather unnerving. Why not just a free flow? That makes it look more like they're like flesh limbs. Just, ugh. Oh gosh, it's even worse in 3D! Well, that's the thing, I don't think they are limbs. Are they? I'm not seeing any, Yeah, it doesn't seem like it. They just... They're just animated a little off. Yeah, no, I'm not as fond of this one. Not quite frustration, but not a fan. Not a fan. Oh, God. I don't remember what the other ones look like. Are they just as bad? No, thank you. Like, I don't need to explain why these weird me the fuck out, right? Gothita in particular. I'm gonna put you underneath the Timburr boys. You just. Ugh. Why? Why? What's the origin, I wonder? Seems to be based on a child dressed in Gothic lutefaction. Okay, never would have guessed that. I hate looking at this creature. I hate looking at this creature. Gothitelle has some interesting Pokémon extension. Well, we'll read those. But it doesn't save it for me. They're just humans. I think psychic Pokemon are at the best when you can't quite tell, when they get that otherworldly sense to them. Things like Sigilyph, things like Abra, things like Ralt. That's when psychic types are at their best, in my opinion. This is just some weird-ass Lady Gaga stage cosplay. Just, ugh. Visible in space distorted by their intense psychic power. They can predict the future from the placement and movement of... Oh god, they're into astrology too? Of course they are. Of course they are. They can see trainers' lifespans. It can see the future movement of the stars when it learns to train lifespan. It cries in sadness. God, I'd love this so much if it was on a design that I gave a single shit about. You guys are supposed to be rivals to the Solosis line? Yeah, but the Solosis line... Like, that's some weird-ass stuff there. There's no competition. Yeah, hold on. This is another one. I want to see if there's any cool redesigns of what this thing could be. Not really. Because it's a concept that is so heavily based off of something human that it's hard to get away from that. Like, this isn't bad. I don't hate this. Gets into that kind of weird unknowingness that I would want from psychic types, but even then... Just, no. Heavy contender for what might be one of my least favorite Pokemon. Solosis, though. This thing is funky. I like it. Just this weird, like, single-celled organism thingamabobber. Came out of my mouth really weird. But to take the idea of a psychic Pokemon and just go like, okay, what if we go back to the very basics of life? And then just give that sentience. That's fascinating. I love that. I mean, yeah, I can't say much more than that. I just think it's great. I think this is a fantastic psychic type Pokemon. The entire line, really. I do think Duosion is a little weaker Okay, hold on. This is mitosis Pokemon. Remind me what mitosis is. Separating two... Oh! Okay. Okay, no, you have to have Duosion, because that's how cells grow. I understand. I understand. I think it's the weakest of the bunch, but I understand it's for the bits, and I respect that for it. And then Ranunculus just... Oh, it's so good. Look at this friend. He's so happy to see you. Just creature setting up the building blocks of life, and just... This bizarre... I hate that I keep saying Fey, but I don't know how else to call it. Just this Fey creature result from that. The weird big arms. When Ranunculus shake hands, a network forms between their brains, increasing their psychic power. It's such a fun design. It's so fun. I want to see this thing's Gen 5 sprite. Yeah, look at it! It's just bobbing around, waving at you. It's so good. And it never loses that feeling of being absolutely alien, even though it is absolutely adorable. It's always a great Psychic-type Pokemon. This thing's going way up here. Here. Yes, that feels good. That feels fantastic. And then we have a duck. I mean, what more do you want me? What more do you want? Maybe a swan, perhaps? Oh, we're getting really ambitious here. They're not really even that heavily Pokemoned. Like, it's just a duck and a swan. Like, they look fine. I don't hate them. I'm kind of tempted to put the Ducklett in Everstone, but I think it's only because it's waving at me, and that's kind of cute. Oh, that's not a good 3D model. How do you animate? I do like that he waves at you. That is kind of cute. But it's just a duck. It's just a duck. I'll put you... You're much better than at least the pigeon. I do like you a little bit more than the mole and the pig right here in HM Slave. And we're probably going to put the swan in the same spot. Like, they're nice looking. But I don't really even get any, like, Pokemon personality from them. They're just birds. I want to say it's an ugly duckling, beautiful swan thing, but they don't really go in on ugly or beautiful, so it's all for naught. Right? Yeah. Like, if this thing was hideous, and this thing was just turned up to 11... Why does it have feather boobs? Oh gosh, I was kind of joking when I said that, but it literally just is feather boobs. Oh, that's knocking me down points. That looks weird as hell. That's knocking down severe points. That's so weird. True, Phoebus has already done the ugly duckling thing way better. I think it's a reference to Ballet, Swan Lake, and all that. I mean, yeah, but even then, if you're gonna go that direction, make it a heron, first of all. I know it's backwards considering it's called Swan Lake, but a heron can actually dance. Just give it longer legs. You can get away with it. It's fine. Oh, gosh. The ice cream. What is your origin? It's based off of soft serve ice cream? Ugh! Never would have guessed it. Never would have guessed it. I need to see this thing's Pokedex entries. Because that's going to heavily determine why does it look like an ice cream cone. Bathed in energy from the morning sun, it sleeps in buried snow. Squirrels bathed in energy from the morning sun. Nope. Nope, didn't do enough. That's unfortunate. This one... I'm not a fan. When we get... I'm going to explain this using other Pokemon as examples. When you see things like Magnemites, it's very clearly based off of magnets, but it's fused into this weird drone-like creature. Some bizarre... Ever since humans invented steel, the steel came together and came to life in some weird way. That's cool. I like that. You get things like Voltorb. From a gameplay sense, it acts as a mimic, which is cool. I like that. That's an interesting way of luring prey by looking at this like this thing that's all over the place. That's interesting. The fact that you're purposefully trying to look like something that other people want to eat? I saw that in the universe ice cream is based on vanilla. Nah, it goes too far for me. Like, there's a lot of Pokemon throughout the series that I feel like, oh yeah, I could see something from humans being based on that. But the fact it's got the pattern of, like, the soft serve cone. It's got the exact perfect swirl. This was a Pokemon designed to look like something specific. This is not something that people created soft serve to look more like Vanillites. I don't think the designs are particularly offensive, but I would want to trade this. I'll put it at the top of Wonder Trade, because it's charming. But I feel nothing looking at this thing. And it's silly. Not in a fun way, either. Because there are a lot of fun inanimate object Pokemon. Inanimate object Pokemon. We'll get to one a little bit later, right here. But this one just feels weak to me. It's just weak. Convinced they got to the end of development and realized they had no ice types, and they're like, quick, think of 3 cold things! Yeah, and the fact that it doesn't even go anywhere? It just becomes more ice cream? And to top it all off, it does the kind of same Dugtrio, like, oh, it's just a bunch of villains stuck together. Is that actually how that works? No, it just has 2 heads. Because why not? Because that's something to think about when you think of ice cream. 2 heads. Which is another thing! It doesn't even commit to the ice cream bits. Best you get is like this little straw... What is that? I can't... It's not a cinnamon... Well, it can be a cinnamon stick if you want it, but... The whole pastry thing they stick in the ice cream. Like, maybe if it was truly ice cream, you'd get more toppings. Maybe you could give it... like a chocolate variant that's ground type, or a strawberry variant that's fire type, but no. It's just dumb. Like, you can even do Pokemon based off of food, like, what's the Gen 8 one? All creamy, or something like that? I still think that's stupid, but at least it does something interesting with the concept. This can't even do that. I think it just slowly descends down. I like Swoobat more than those 2. I just think I like the monkeys more than those 2. Like, it never offends me to the point of got away safely. But, God, this design's dumb. It's the bare minimum of time. Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. It's not the fact that it's ice cream, it's that it's boring ice cream. And that's not because it's vanilla. It's because it's not doing jack shit. Deerling. Just a deer. But I do like the season gimmick.